What do you mean by breaking the silence?
Letting men speak, hearing them. That is the thing. Is because men will go underground. Men will not talk about this because it's taboo. No one wants to hear that a man was sexually abused by another man or by a woman. They're like, oh, that didn't happen. Those are just boys being boys. Or didn't you just get broken in early by a woman? These are the things you hear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about that a boy who's been beaten his whole life, and maybe no sexual abuse happened, but abuse happened. And they think, oh, nothing happened to you. Why didn't you learn to fight, right? Because you don't understand the trauma cycle. You don't understand the abuse cycle. They can't or they don't know how. If you've never been taught anything different, why would you do anything different?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I guess the question becomes, why do we need to talk about it?
So it stops.
Hmm.
That's how you break it. You talk, it stops.
I'm a black and white kind of guy. So thank you. I'm a black and white. You know what I'm saying? And it was you just like railed back and slapped me in the face. That was the only answer that I could imagine you would say. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, and actually talking about it sort of breaks the cycle of normalization of it, because it seems like people have grown to just sort of almost, I don't want to say accept it, but it's sort of that boys will be boys kind of thing. That's sort of like, well, perpetrators are going to perpetrate. Men
will be men. I hear that one a lot.
I think does homophobia also play into men not talking about their abuse?
Yes. And I try to tell them abuse has nothing to do with sexuality, right? And it's very hard for people to understand that, especially if they were perpetrated with a man or multiple men. And they're like, well, I'm not attracted to men. I said, well, you don't have to be, but this happened to me, because that's the blame and the shame going in, right? Or they could be gay. And then they say, well, it's because I was gay. And I'm like, no, the two don't really go together. And I, when I work in corrections, or I work with, having the court understand a male survivor, right? One of the things is I get to tell that story and have them understand, that sexuality has nothing to do with this, because there's a lot of that within the systems that we work in. And being able to explain that gives people such voice and such power. It's like, it's amazing to see a survivor, just those weights come off of them when someone just believes them.